Chapter 4. Buddha nature is not empty of itself, but only empty of samsaric phenomena. There are two types of emptiness. One, self-emptiness, and two, other emptiness. We may call the first empty emptiness and the second non-empty emptiness. Self-emptiness means that something is empty of its own entity or self. This is the case with any samsaric phenomena, including the outer world and inner world of unenlightened beings. Anything that appears due to various combinations of causes and conditions is self-empty. Anything that changes is self-empty. Anything that can be analyzed and divided in small fragments and atoms is self-empty. Any samsaric universe with all the various planets, solar systems and unenlightened beings living there is self-empty because they appear due to various causes and conditions, change due to causes and conditions, and disappear due to causes and conditions. Anything that is self-empty is a dream, a mirage, a magical display, and ultimately not real. All phenomena and beings of samsaric existence are self-empty. The so-called inner or outer reality that unenlightened beings experience is self-empty and ultimately not real. It is like when you wake up from a dream and you realize it was just a dream with unreal events, while when you were immersed in it, you felt that was the real world. The awakened ones, that is the Buddhas, who also act as awakeners of others, become aware of their Buddha nature, that is true reality, and by dwelling in it, they have realized that the dream world of sleeping beings, that is unenlightened beings or not Buddhas yet, is self-empty and not actually real. Samsara being self-empty has only a relative reality, just like the dream is real for the dreamer, while the Buddha nature and those who dwell in it, the Buddhas, experience the true reality, the reality of the awakened ones. The single goal of all the various Dharma gates is to help you to escape the dream world of samsara and awake to the true reality, or the reality of Buddha nature, which is not self-empty, but only empty of illusions, empty of blind passions, empty of defilements, etc., and filled with the infinite qualities of true freedom. It is extremely important to understand the difference between self-emptiness, that was described above and was mentioned in the Heart Sutra, and other emptiness. Buddha nature is not actually empty or not self-empty for the simple reason that it is the true reality, unconditioned by anything, not created by anything, not dependent on anything, not appearing according to causes and conditions, not changing according to causes and conditions, and not disappearing due to causes and conditions. A dream appears due to various reasons, but the reality experienced when awake has always been there, and it is what you awake to when you stop dreaming. Thousands upon thousands of dreams, that is, samsaric states of existence, may appear and disappear, but the reality or Buddha nature never changes, and it is always there. This is why such a reality is not self-empty. There is only one way in which we can say that true reality or Buddha nature is empty, and that is other emptiness or non-empty emptiness. The samsaric phenomena of inner and outer world is empty emptiness, because it is truly empty, while the Buddha nature is non-empty emptiness, because it is only empty of samsara, but not empty of itself and not empty of its innate enlightened qualities. Unfortunately, even during the presence of Shakyamuni Buddha in flesh and bones, and nowadays, more than 2,500 years after, there are some who do not understand the difference between empty emptiness and non-empty emptiness, or between what is truly empty, that is self-empty, and that which is only empty of other, that is empty of illusions and samsaric phenomena. This is exactly why I'm writing this text, because it is essential that members of Amidaji have the right understanding of all main Buddhist doctrines. In the Angulimala Sutra it is said, note comments in the brackets on my own. Quote, for example, a rainstorm falls from a great cloud, and a person with a childish nature picks up a piece of hail, thinking that it is a precious Vidura jewel. The person carries it home, and not daring to hold it due to its great coldness, thinks to treat it as a treasure, and carefully puts it into a vase. Seeing that round piece of hail melt, the person thinks empty, and turns speechless. Similarly, one who meditates on extreme emptiness, and considers emptiness to be profound, uncomfortably sees all phenomena to be destroyed. Even non-empty liberation is seen and considered to be emptiness. End quote. First, some people think that samsaric phenomena, that is, the piece of hail, are permanent. Then they realize that they are empty and impermanent. So far, so good. Nothing wrong here. But the problem appears when they start thinking that because samsaric phenomena are empty and without a self, then everything should be empty and without self, even the Buddha nature, that is, the Vaidura jewel, and its innate qualities, non-empty phenomena. For example, having thought that a piece of hail is a jewel, the person meditates even on jewels as empty. Likewise, you also consider non-empty phenomena to be empty. Seeing phenomena as empty, you also destroy non-empty phenomena as empty. However, empty phenomena are other, non-empty phenomena are other. Empty phenomena or samsaric phenomena are different from non-empty phenomena or the qualities and attributes inherent in the Buddha nature. The tens of millions of afflictive emotions like hailstones are empty. The phenomena in the class of non-virtues like hailstones quickly disintegrate. Buddha, like a Vaidura jewel, is permanent. The scope of liberation also is like a Vaidura jewel. Buddha nature is permanent and non-empty of its own entity, like a pot empty of water that is still a pot, but empty of the water element, or a house empty of humans who is still a house, but without human beings. The Buddha nature is empty of defilements and the defects of samsara, but not empty of itself and its innate Buddha qualities. This is why we say that Buddha nature is non-empty emptiness. Quote, an empty home in a built-up city is called empty due to the absence of humans. A pot is empty due to the absence of water. A river is empty due to water not flowing. Is a village that is without householders called empty, or are the households empty in all respects? They are not empty in all respects. They are called empty due to the absence of humans. Is a pot empty in all respects? It is not empty in all respects. It is called empty due to the absence of water. Is a river empty in all respects? It is not empty in all respects. It is called empty because water is not flowing. Similarly, liberation is not empty in all respects. It is called empty because of being devoid of all defects. A Buddha, a supramundane victor, is not empty, but is called empty because of being devoid of defects and due to the absence of humanness and godhood that have tens of millions of afflictive emotions. End quote. Also, the Mahaparinirvana Sutra, using the non-existence of a horse and a cow and the non-existence of a cow and a horse, states that the Buddha nature and nirvana is other empty in the sense of not being empty of itself. Quote, child of lineage, a horse does not exist in a cow, but it is not suitable to say that a cow does not exist, and a cow does not exist in a horse, but it is not suitable to say that even a horse does not exist. Nirvana also is like that. Nirvana does not exist in afflictive emotions, and afflictive emotions do not exist in nirvana. Hence, it is said to be the non-existence of the one in the other. End quote. Master Shantao said, quote, in his attainment of highest truth, the Buddha is the one most revered in all the heavens. He has awakened to the truth that Buddha nature is not void, that is, not empty of itself. End quote. Speaking about the virtues and the activities of those born in the Pure Land, Shakyamuni said, quote, with the Buddha eye they completely realize the nature of dharmas, that is, phenomena. They observe with the eye of equality that the three worlds are empty and non-existent. End quote. He also said, when describing the spiritual journey of Bodhisattva Dharmakara before he became Amida Buddha, quote, he dwelled in the realization that all dharmas or phenomena are empty, devoid of distinctive features, and not to be sought after, and that they neither act nor arise. He thus realized that all dharmas are like magical creations. End quote. From the point of view of ultimate reality or Dharmakaya, Buddha nature, the various phenomena of samsaric existence are like magical creations, and are seen as neither act nor arise, because they do not have a real permanent existence. For Dharmakara, Bodhisattva, such an understanding of the emptiness of all phenomena of samsaric existence versus the true reality of ultimate Dharmakaya or Buddha nature was not an intellectual one, the product of mind categories and rationalizations, but a genuine realization in which he dwelt constantly. By having access to this true reality, he could then manifest his enlightened realm in accordance with his vows. If the Buddha nature and its innate qualities were really empty of themselves, then it would mean that they do not actually exist, or they exist only at the relative level, that is, do not have real existence. Without a real Buddha nature with truly existent Buddha qualities, Buddha attributes, there would be no real liberation from samsara, and all the Dharma gates would be useless because they would not really liberate anybody. In the Queen Srimala Sutra it is said, quote, "There are two types of emptiness wisdom concerning the Buddha nature, which are as follows. 1. The Buddha nature is empty from, separate from, independent from, and different from all the stores of defilement. 2. The Buddha nature is not empty from, is not separate from, not independent from, and not different from the inconceivable Buddha attributes, which are more numerous than the sands of the river Ganges." End quote. In Maitreya's sublime continuum of the great vehicle, it is said, quote, "The matrix of the one gone thus, that is, the Tathagata Buddha nature, is empty of all the coverings of separable and removable afflictive emotions, and is not empty of the inseparable, unremovable, inconceivable Buddha qualities, more numerous than the sands of the Ganges." End quote. In the Awakening of Faith in Mahayana by Master Ashwagosha, it is said, quote, "Suchness or Buddha nature has two aspects if predicated in words. One is that it is truly empty, or shunya, for this aspect can, in the final sense, reveal what is real. That is, by seeing what is false, you can understand the true. The other is that it is truly non-empty, or shunya, for its essence itself is endowed with undefiled and excellent qualities." End quote. Liberation, and that in which we are liberated, that is, the Buddha nature, cannot be relative or not truly existent. Only the samsaric dream can be relatively real, that is, real for the dreamer, and actually not real from the perspective of the ultimate reality of the Buddha nature, in which all Buddhas dwell, and where they want to liberate us. Also, the so-called liberation obtained by those who follow non-Buddhist or heretical views and do not understand true emptiness is not real liberation. In the Mahaparinirvana Sutra it is said, quote, "Moreover, release is non-empty empty, that is, non-empty emptiness. That which is called empty empty is nothingness. Nothingness is like the release of the Order of the Naked Ones, or Jains. Since the Naked Ones do not really have release, it is called empty empty, because real release is not like that. It is non-empty empty. Non-empty emptiness is real release. Real release is the one gone thus, that is, Tathagata or Buddha." End quote. Because samsaric phenomena and the so-called release or liberation of non-Buddhists are false, they are called empty empty, that is, empty of themselves. Anything which is false does not really exist, so it is a release into nothingness. However, the Buddhist release, which leads to innate Buddha nature, is true and real. For this reason it is called non-empty empty, that is, empty in the sense of not having any more illusions, blind passions and defilements. As non-Buddhists, like the Jains mentioned above, do not understand Buddha nature, they remain entangled in illusions, so they cannot have true release. Shinran Shonin himself quoted Mahaparinirvana Sutra on this aspect in his Kagyo Shinsho. Quote, "The emancipation of non-Buddhist ways is called impermanent. The emancipation of Buddhist ways is called eternal. The 95 non-Buddhist teachings defile the world. The Buddha's path alone is pure. Only by going forth and reaching enlightenment can we benefit others. In this burning house, this is the natural working of the vow." End quote. Because the Buddhist path has true knowledge of the Buddha nature and perfect ways to discover it, that is, reaching enlightenment, we say that it is supreme among all other religions. There are two important footnotes to this section. In the first important footnote, it refers to the fragments quoted from the Angulimala Sutra. These fragments that are quoted from this sutra are told by Angulimala to Manjushri, who pretends to not know the difference between the two types of emptiness. People should not think that since Angulimala was a sinful person, what he said is not true, for he is actually a Buddha in disguise. In the same sutra it is said that to the south is a vast land of Buddhas. There is a land called Decorated by all the jewels, where a Buddha called Liked when seen by all the world, manifestly elevated great effort resides, and he manifested as Angulimala. The second and final important footnote in this section refers to the word Dharma. When Dharma is written with a small d, it refers to phenomena. When it is written with a capital D, it refers to the Buddhist teaching.